What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be playing some Blackout, but more importantly we're going to be talking about the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Alright, you ready to talk about Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5? We got Harrison here with us.
Always, my dude. Born for this crap.
Alright. So we're going to be playing some Blackout in the background. I wanted to play some Blackout because we played Warzone, and I want to go back and play Blackout and see how Blackout stacks up. But, so the specs...
Since we played it, huh?
Yeah, actually, when was the last? Probably October?
Probably, dude.
So the specs of the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 have come out. It's kind of interesting. Microsoft came out with the specs of the Xbox Series X earlier this week. And then 2 days later, Sony was like, hey, we got the specs of our PlayStation 5, and we're going to have a conference. And basically, just the summary is that the Xbox Series X is more powerful. So we have the specs pulled up, and we're going to be discussing that. So actually, first, we got to make sure, let's just land on the sail house. Like mops and pools. But honestly, I think the conference for the PlayStation 5 was kind of boring, straight up.
Different.
Yeah, I feel like you can land a lot faster in this.
Yeah, and I just like the whole that you don't have to pull your chute.
Okay, who is this dick who's stealing all my
in
stuff?
Warzone.
Yeah.
And it can be quite annoying to have to redeploy your chute like 6 or 7 different times just to like maybe, just to like maybe land in the place that you want.
Yeah.
You can't really go anywhere. You kind of just have to like hope that you're close enough to an area that you like to be in.
Yeah, straight up. There's a guy like under us. It could be on top of us.
Oh, must be under it.
There we go.
Ooh, look at that little lag right there.
So I thought that the way that they did the announcement of the PlayStation 4 was really weird and kind of sucked. So they did it as like a conference that honestly looked... The way it was set up, it's like, have you ever seen those shows or stuff like that where it's like somebody in a theater and like you can see like people in the audience, but they're just a silhouette and it doesn't look like they're actually moving at all? That's what it looked like. It looked like the people who were in the audience were just a silhouette. It was just like a still image. It didn't look like they're actually real people.
Really?
Yeah, and people are actually saying that it wasn't real people because they didn't really move, and they kind of moved a little bit sometimes, but then when they did move, they would just kind of like move back, and it kept looping. So they'd make like the same movements over and over. So apparently they had a fake audience for that.
That's just ridiculous. You can't even get enough people out to have a real audience.
And
like this is why you plan stuff out. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Get noticed. People will come to this. I mean, PlayStation's not something to just laugh over. Like they're not a tiny company. They could have gotten people out to come and do this.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a weird conference, though, also, because they got, I mean, like, their lead architect, Mark Cerny, like, he knows a lot about hardware and the state of, like, gaming and where Xbox is at and stuff. But I don't think he's a great presenter. Like, he is such...
Yeah, they're definitely...
a boring guy.
That need for a people person as well, you know?
Yeah. Like, he came out and he was like, oh, yeah, no, so these are the specs. And it's like the world's most boring guy who is announcing this, and it's like, really? Like,
he's like, okay, so these are the specs for our new console, and yeah, they're gonna be great. Okay, everybody, have a good day.
yeah. Like, it was kind of ridiculous.
Like, I hope you enjoy. It's like, bruh, can you speak more monotone and like... lifeless.
Yeah, like they could have just grabbed like
what you do.
just about anybody else to present it. It would have been great. Just like give them the information. Like he knows the information. That's good. You know that you have somebody who's presenting who actually knows what they're talking about. But you got to get somebody who like knows what they're talking about, but is also like entertaining to watch and doesn't put you to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, even in that case, even if he wants to be like a good part of it, like put him in there, but put him with somebody.
Yeah.
Have two people, so that you have somebody who really knows what they're talking about and can really clear anything up if need. Oh, son of a biscuit! Get shot in the back. Somebody's running with the collapse over here.
I see them. They're weak. There's two of them. They're going out to the right.
Shot in the freaking butthole. But yeah, no. So have somebody that's really into what they are talking about, really knows what they're talking about, and then have another person that's just as passionate as the other person has knowledge. So you have somebody who's really knows what they're talking about, and somebody who knows well enough what they're talking about that they can talk about it, but then somebody who can really clear it up if needs be. You know?
Yeah.
Have it be exciting. And
there's a guy still in the collapse.
Oh, son of a bitch! Yeah, there was a dude right there, son of a gun. He got me. Hit him with the grenade. Where's the last dude? I can't see him. This other guy. Oh, you got. Ooh. Oh, he's part of a different squad. Oh shoot, we got another squad. One dude left outside. He's right next to our other two guys. He's cleaning them up.
Oh no! Dude had a sword? What was that?
We're redeploying right now.
Oh my goodness.
Shoot, dude.
I think you're the only one redeploying.
Am I really? Son of a... Okay, I redeployed over by the building that says... Is this the one that says Alcatraz by? Ah, shit, I got a freaking sensor on me, bro.
And I think I saw this on Twitter. A couple people are saying this, that it was like the wrong way to announce a console. Because like you're marketing to gamers, and yeah, like it seems like some gamers care about specs, but I feel like more people just care about games. They didn't show off any games. They didn't really talk about games.
What the what? Oh. Yeah, they didn't show off any games. Just like, hi, how you guys doing? Here's this console. Cool beans.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how, like, you think they would learn from what Xbox.
No! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Clutch. Okay.
Yeah, but like you think they would learn from what Xbox did a couple years ago? They pull out this with this cool new thing, but they don't have like they did it as if it was a not like a console, like a gaming console. Yeah,
more like as a media device.
It was a media device, and it's like, who the frick cares about a media device? We want a console. Talk about your games, like make it exciting. Where in the heck did this guy come from? Straight out the building. I didn't even see that. There's a freaking break right there. I didn't even see it. Yeah, see, that's what he did to me. I was like, what?
What?
Sad day.
What the freak is going on here?
The dudes keep just respawning right on top of that, dude. But they don't, it's like, obviously the community wants you to talk about your games, how your console is going to work with those games. Talk about, a big thing they should talk about is their exclusive games. That's a really good thing for the community, because the community...
Oh, you can get me, I'm hiding behind the thing.
Their exclusiveness, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, take this for instance. Right when the freaking, is somebody else reviving you? They won't let me revive you. Okay. Take this announcement of basically of the Xbox being more powerful. All these freaking PlayStation people were like, Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The PlayStation still has has better exclusive games. It's like, then why didn't they talk about that in their conference? You know what I mean? Make it exciting. Give people what they want. Like that's what this is supposed to be. Is building hype. Oh my gosh, dude! I can't freaking can't move.
Because like when Microsoft talked about their specs, they talked about like how it impacts games. Everything was like, okay, the CPU is going to be better, and that's going to help games. We're going to have a better GPU, and that's going to help games. Faster memory, that's going to be better for games. We're going to have all these different hardware things for better for games. What?
What the?
What?
Redeployment unavailable.
Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh. I don't even know where I got shot from, dude. Just all of a sudden it was just like, boop, and I'm like, okay.
But it's interesting though, Microsoft talked about games and Sony just talked more about hardware. And yeah, like you were saying, like all these PlayStation fans, they just talk about exclusive. They're saying, oh, Xbox has teraflops, but PlayStation has exclusives. And I want to make a separate video talking about this, but honestly, I don't think exclusives matter that much. Because, yeah, you know, you might be buying like a PlayStation, you might want to play The Last of Us, so like the only place you can play it on is on a PlayStation, okay? But, oh, okay, that's fine. But yeah, so that's fine, but chances are, you're probably going to be not playing a game like The Last of Us all the time. You're most likely going to be playing a game like we are right now, like Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Warzone, Fortnite, NBA, and those are all multi-platform games. They're not exclusive to any platform. So yeah, most people play those.
They're huge.
Yeah.
You know?
And those are the most streamed and most watched games.
Yeah.
Those are the ones most people play.
It's like it's like exclusive games are fun, must. It's like we've said before, like, you know what, we can talk about specs all day long, but it's like when it comes down to it, buy the console that your friends have so you can play with your friends.
Yeah, honestly.
You know what I mean?
Like if all your friends are playing Xbox, why would you buy a PlayStation? You're just excluding yourself. But then again, okay, there is an argument against that, however, is that more and more games are becoming, like, have crossplay, so you can still play with your friends even if they're on different platforms, though.
And, I mean, that itself makes sense. However, when you say there's more and more games becoming like that, we've got, like, 4.
Yeah.
You know? And it's been, like, 4 in as many years. Like, when Fortnite came out, it took them, what, 2 years before they could get PlayStation to say, heck yeah, we'll do it?
Pretty much, yeah.
And then, Rocket League. I don't know, Rocket League has been out for a while, too, and it took them a while. I think Modern Warfare is the first game, correct me if I'm wrong, is the first game to come out and be cross-platform from the beginning.
I think so. Because all these other games, I think, had to be updated for it.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure. And so we can say that all these games are gonna be cross-platform, but like we can see so much like struggle between developers. Like, do we really want to? You know what I mean? And so it's like it comes to this point where I don't like. Yes, it will get there where everything will be cross-platform, but as of right now, still, I think for this year, next year, and probably the year after that, it's probably still just worth it to buy whatever your friends have, because the exclusivity, I can't speak English, is not really at the point that we, or the cross-platform isn't at the point where it's going to be enough for you to play with your friends no matter what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
I think until it
a
really
new argument
gets to that point, you can't really do it.
Yeah. Another point that people have brought up, though, is are you really going to be able to tell the difference between 10 teraflops and 12 teraflops? And I think, I mean, obviously the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are both going to be able to hit 4K, 60 FPS in games. Like, it's not going to be that much of a struggle. But where I feel like that extra GPU power is really going to shine is in, like, detail for games and in ray tracing. Because the Xbox Series X...
Coming your way. They're not even killing me. I got one right next to me. Got the second one. Yep. There we go. Yeah, ray tracing. Sorry.
It has 44% more ray tracing hardware in it.
Yeah. Oh, clap those folks.
So I'm focusing on the game real
They'll
quick.
be dropping on you here right now. Yeah. Hey, that was mine. Yeah, no, we're redropping right now, so be careful. They're gonna probably come down on you right here, but I'll come down on you too. I'm not gonna go down on you, but I'm coming down. Let's make that clear right now, Joel, okay? I'm a strong, independent woman, and I don't need no man to control my life.
So yeah, Microsoft talked about path tracing, and then Sony talked about global illumination. So Sony's more focused on like reflections and using ray tracing to like enhance a scene as much as they possibly kind of can. But Microsoft is like, no, we want like all of our games, if at all possible, to be like fully ray traced, just like you have on like the PC side.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of awesome because Microsoft is basically all the PC games world too. So they're like competing with themselves, and I think it's really good to have like these two platforms that, you know, even though part of the same company, they're trying to get to the point where they're as good as this thing that has always been seen as always being able to be better. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With because it's just
like you have fanboys who like fanboy over like PC, and they're like, oh, PC's the best. But it's like, yeah, that might be so. You might have more powerful PC and hardware, but I mean, you can't deny the bang for the buck of a console. But also, Microsoft, as a company, they don't care if you buy Xbox or PC. Either one's good for them, because that's still their business.
They're happy with you doing either way.
Yeah. And I think that's great. I mean, they've made giant strides in the PC space with, like, Game Pass for PC and a whole bunch of other stuff. They're doing great things for PC.
They're not lagging on either one, dude.
Yeah.
They're really kicking it up a notch for everything.
People say that the Microsoft Store needs work and needs to be more competitive with Steam, and I'll agree, yeah, it could be better, but honestly, I think that... Oh, nuts. He's out here by the shack. He's weak. Oh, you should immediately...
I can't, there's two guys around me. Boom! Worth it. Straight worth it.
But stuff like Master Chief Collection on PC, I mean, Microsoft absolutely killed it with that because it released on both Steam and the Microsoft Store. So it's like, okay, well, you can play on freaking...
Boom! That's what you get for taking my ABR, boy.
Woo! There goes their squad.
Oh, wiped him. I'll take my ABR. Better with it anyways.
Where'd my gun go? There we go.
Yeah, no, I had two of them. I almost had the second guy, but then the third guy came out of nowhere. I was like, yep, bye-bye. I'm outie. Well, that doesn't help me. Sure, we'll take this.
But yeah, like Master Chief Collection and like you can your stuff transfers even if you're on Steam and all this stuff. They've been doing great things with it. There's a guy who's shooting at me over here at 125. He's only got a pistol. He jumped out of that little building. He's running towards you. He's right alongside the wall here. There's a second guy going.
Which one? Oh,
to your left.
Oh. Boop. Got them both. What the frick did I just do? I just switched something. I didn't even notice.
Supply drop inbound.
Wait, that guy had armor on. There we go.
Circle collapse imminent. Get to safety.
I need some armor too, dude.
Oh, there's a squad down below us. Okay, let's dip.
They can't hit Jack.
Woo! Oh my goodness, yeah, they can. Let's go to another prison.
What the frick just happened? I think just somebody just what? That was weird. I'm gonna chuck this barricade down right here. Just to annoy somebody as they run inside. Ooh, nice. Need some freaking armor though, yo.
Yeah, none of these guys really have stuff. But overall, I think that the PlayStation 5 might sell better than the Xbox Series X, but I think that's pretty much down to like regions that it's being released in.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like Xbox is more of like a like in the West kind of thing, like little bits of Europe and like the United States, whereas PlayStation is like Asia, United States, Europe, all over the place.
Yeah.
So just, I mean, even just that on its own means it'll probably sell more. And then I feel like a big part of the PlayStation 4 selling so well was just the price, because it was cheaper. Because honestly, at the end of the day, like, we can compare specs, but I think price is probably going to be one of the biggest factors, though. Because a lot of people don't have $500 to spend, but they might, you know, $400 might be more in their price range, might be more economical.
And it's a lot of it is, you know, just kids and their parents. Like, their parents are like, I don't want to buy a, you know, $500 console. I don't want to buy a $400 console. But I'd rather buy a $400 console than a $500. Holy mother! He's weak. He's really weak. Boop. There we go. Beautiful. But yeah, they'd much rather buy a $400 console than a $500 console.
And I think that's where the beauty of Microsoft's supposed Xbox Series S comes in. Because it's still supposed to be this next generation system, but it's going to be cheaper. It's not going to be as powerful as the Series X, but you know, if it's cheaper and it's still more powerful than the One X, it's going to do great things.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, honestly, because Microsoft hasn't really said anything about it recently, I think, honestly, they're straight up just waiting until Sony fully comes out with a lot of details on their PlayStation 5. And once they announce price, then Microsoft will come out and talk about the Series X, or Series S, I mean. Dude, I am wiping so many fools. I just gotta point that out.
I know, man. I've been trying, but I keep having to re-frickin' loot, and that's really where it gets you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is when you have to frickin' loot and.
Can I not go out this window?
Take up all this crap.
There we go. Okay, is there guys on the roof? There's nobody on the roof above us.
I do not have like any ammo.
There's like 3 guys to the side of us.
You got 7.62?
I'm using it though. What else do you need? You need 5.56 or?
You have 5.56. Or no, 3.38. No, I don't need 5.56.
3.38.
I can pick this up though.
I don't have any of that though.
I'll pick up the Damon. F it.
Okay, I did see 3 guys down to our right. I'm gonna hold to the left. One down by this tree.
Oh, dude, why you friggin' our teammate? He sees him. He's like,
one guy over here to the right behind the shack.
There's a guy
at
to the
241.
left, right on the other side of this. Behind me, what the frick? Oh man, I couldn't even freaking climb. I tried to climb up and around that thing, and it freaking tapped me for a half second. There's a guy coming to your right, and there's, let's see. I don't see anybody by where they're, what the frick did that guy just, yeah. So, You look good. Oh, there's one guy over on the right side of the little shack right here. He's coming around on this left side. He sees me calling. Getting in the way. Getting in the way. There's another guy right behind him on the right side of him.
Oh, it's a squad. Dang it. Oh, man. Dang. I probably could have got them both. I just couldn't get them quite with the Damon. Dang it.
Yeah.
14 kills, though. Not too bad.
That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, that guy saw me straight up. I should have just pushed these guys right from the start.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the other one had the bow. No, that was a cluster. Okay. But just in general, I think that Microsoft had a better presentation. I hope that Sony actually comes out and talks about games, that they show some games on it, because Microsoft, I mean, they've shown off like a couple games running on quote-unquote Xbox Series X hardware. It's obviously a PC, but it's meant to be like similar enough to the Xbox Series X. So like they showed off Halo Infinite, showed off like 10 minutes of gameplay of that last year, and Sony hasn't, at least to my knowledge, shown off any gameplay of any PlayStation 5 games.
Yeah, which is like, come on. People don't just want to see, yeah, so our CPU is this, our GPU is this. Like, yeah, that's cool and all, but when you're saying, hey, our CPU is this, our GPU is this, and then it ends up being weaker than your competition, nobody cares. Because at that point, it's like, that's not your selling point. It's not that it's powerful.
Yeah, and I feel like they shot themselves in the foot
Microsoft.
By announcing it right after Microsoft. Like, Microsoft comes out and is like, hey, ours is 12. And then Sony's like, yeah, ours is 10, but here's some boring presentation about tech specs. And it's like,
yeah,
really? This is your competition. You're really not doing yourself any favors here. What they should have done, honestly, is been like, oh, numbers and teraflops and stuff aren't everything. Here is some gameplay of what games will actually look like on next gen. Talk about games and stuff. They could have spun it in that direction, but instead they still talked about hardware. It's like, how are you going to talk about your hardware and like try and hype yours up when your competition's is better? I mean, I enjoyed that they talked about it. I just don't think that should have been the public's first like glimpse of what the PlayStation 5 is beyond the logo. Because up until now, we've only seen the logo and like a slide of like 5 things they're going to be doing with the PlayStation 5. Like, that's all we've heard. Microsoft has announced tons of stuff for it. Yeah. I mean, Microsoft back in December, they showed off what the console looks like. Sony still hasn't done that. The only thing we've seen so far is the dev kits that look like a vacuum cleaner. Which traditionally dev kits look pretty similar to the final product, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting, though, that Sony hasn't revealed the price, release date, the look of the console, or any games, but Microsoft has revealed the look of the console, like specs. And they say holiday 2020. They did have a leak that came out like yesterday that said it was like an official Xbox promo that was on some of the region's websites that said it was coming out Thanksgiving 2020. But then later, Microsoft was like, hey, that's not correct. It's coming out holiday 2020. So I have a video specifically about that on my channel, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. I think that Microsoft and Sony are both playing chicken for who wants to announce pricing and release date first, because they want to see what the competition is doing. And, I mean, as long as they announce it by, like, June, I think that'll be good, because around June is probably when you're going to be able to start pre-ordering, so they have to have a price and a release date for us to pre-order.
Yeah.
But I think PlayStation 5, $400, Xbox Series X, $500.
Yeah, that would make sense. It would make a lot of sense. And my whole thing is I'm wondering if, like, we haven't talked about this at all. I'm wondering if COVID-19 is going to actually change that at all, if it's going to end up pushing it back. Because of all the all this stuff that's been going on, just like this, it slows down all the economy and all this, all these jobs that they're like, hey, don't come into work and stuff. Hopefully, they have a good enough system that they can pretty much work on all the specs and at least digitally figure things out from home and get enough work done in the actual plants that they can actually figure out everything to finish up the consoles on a timely manner instead of having to push it back. However, still, it is a possibility that it'll get pushed back a little bit, which kind of sucks. But, you know, that's the reality of right now, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors saying that they're going to be pushed back till early 2021, but it seems like it was like 2 days after those rumors came out. Microsoft came out and they had a video about their new quick resume feature on the Xbox Series X, and also a video demonstrating the load time differences between Xbox One X and Xbox Series X. And in both those videos, at the end of it, it says, coming holiday 2020. So I feel like that was Microsoft's kind of way of saying, no, we're still going to be releasing it holiday 2020. And even after all these things saying it's going to come out Thanksgiving this year, Xbox's Major Nelson was like, no, it's not going to be Thanksgiving. That was an error. We're still committed to releasing holiday 2020. So I think Microsoft really wants to get this out this year. And I mean, when you think about these consoles, like these have been in the works for years now. Like I would assume like the Series X has probably been being worked on in some fashion for probably like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
But production might be affected, but there's reports saying that like China is like kind of going back to normal. But I guess we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Microsoft still says it's going to be 2020. Sony hasn't said much recently, so I feel like Microsoft is, since they're a bigger company, they would have more pull to have a system like released this year. They have a bigger influence,
Yeah.
whereas Sony might not have that same leverage and might have to be pushed back to 2021.
Now that would suck, because if Xbox ends up coming out first, like by a decent margin, that could pull and sway some of the
Like market share towards them.
consumers to buy it. Yeah.
Especially if Sony can't meet this holiday season, because you got to think of all those people who are going to buy it day one. Then you're going to have the people who are buying it on Black Friday, and then you're also going to have the people who are buying
All
it for
the
Christmas
people,
this
yeah,
year.
for Christmas and stuff. Yeah.
And if Sony misses
like-
that, that's going to be huge.
Huge blow.
But
And that's just, I mean, I'm going to be honest, you know, I'm an Xbox person. I like Xbox better. I've played PlayStation. I like PlayStation, but it's just like, I'm more comfortable with Xbox, and that's where I want to be. So as much as I'd like to see them just smash, you know, PlayStation, to smash Sony, I don't really necessarily want it to be like, oh, Sony's dying because of, you know, they couldn't get stuff out because of this COVID-19. I want it to be like legit. I want Xbox to be better, to be more fun to play. I just want it to be a smoother operation, which I personally feel like that, but it's all personal preference, you know what I mean? Because having that competition there is the best thing possible for Microsoft and Sony.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
if Microsoft wasn't pushing Sony every single time, I mean, this year, next year, maybe for 5 years we could be talking about how Microsoft's doing better than Sony. You know, the Xbox is more powerful, or maybe in 2 years, PlayStation and Sony freaking kicks back and is more powerful. Like, it can go back and forth, and it probably, most likely will in the future. So it's like this competition is what we need and love, because it's just that much more to talk about, and that's more rivalry. I mean,
And it's better for the consumer. It's better for everybody.
All this stuff. Oh yeah, because it's like, if you don't have that, you know, if you've got a monopoly, then there's no reason to change. It's kind of like what Intel or what AMD did to Intel. Intel was thinking, hey, we're top dogs. Let's just up this by a tiny bit every year and increase our price, so we can basically give you something that's almost exactly the same, but we say it's a little bit better so we can sell it for a better price, and you'll fall for it. And then AMD comes in here and is like, yo, this crap is actually better, and it's way better.
And it's
then
cheaper,
all of a sudden
too.
It's like, whoa, we got this good competition that's going on now, which we did not have. It was like Intel was the stuff to buy. It was the best quality. It was the best price for what you were getting. And then AMD just comes in and is just like, nah, bros, it's our time now. We're taking this over, and we can see that because now in the Series X we're having AMD, you know, hardware instead of Intel or anything like that, and that's how it's been kind of going. because AMD is like just kicking it in gear and just been like, yo, I'm not gonna take being the second man. I am going to be number one. And that competition, that mindset is what really puts these consoles to get pushes these consoles to be better and better and better. And it's super exciting because that's just super cool, isn't it? Just to be able to be like, oh my gosh, these guys just came out of nowhere and this is awesome. They have great deals. Their stuff is super powerful. And that's what we want to see from all these consoles. We want them to get better and better and better. We want to be able to play more technical games with less lag and latency and just better altogether quality, so that everybody can have a better, a better time playing games. Like that's literally what all of this is about. We want to just play some awesome games, and let's get that crap done. Let's play some awesome games. You know what I mean?
It's honestly what it's about at the end of the day. It's just playing games. And if you buy an Xbox, good for you. If you buy a PlayStation, good for you. If you buy a PC, good for you. At the end of the day, we're all gamers. Yeah. And even consoles, they'll have an impact on the PC market. And this is good for everybody. It means that everybody gets a good value. Because like an Xbox One X costs you $500. And now an Xbox Series X is probably also going to cost you $500. So for that same $500, now you're getting like over twice the power in just a couple of years. Like, that's incredible. So that's an amazing thing that we're able to get all this innovation and all this advancement in such a short time, but also by keeping the prices down. And that's great for everybody, because now everybody can play better games, like new games like Warzone, where you have like 150 players. That's not possible on something like last generation. That's not technically possible. No. So it kind of makes me excited for what's going to be coming up this new generation, when we can have even more powerful hardware, what new experience is going to be out there.
Yeah, and it's just how it goes, The more powerful hardware you got, the better experience you can get all around. Even if you can argue that, it's like you can have a more range of quality, games and systems with the more powerful hardware you have. And that range is what really is awesome, being able to have such a variety of different kinds of games that work and just are altogether fun, because you don't have that lag and that latency and all that stuff going on. Like, I mean, when PUBG first came out, or not even necessarily when it very first came out, for the first little bit, like, it was fun, but it was hard for me to play because things didn't load. You're riding on a freaking, like, an ATV or something, in a car or something, you're driving as fast as you can, and all of a sudden a freaking building loads, and you're inside the building and you die.
Yeah.
And now we play these games that are just impeccable. The games can just load like crazy, and they're getting even better with this hardware. And so just the all-around spectrum of stuff that they can do with this hardware is just incredible, and it's fantastic to have this kind of competition. So that's why it actually makes me sad to hear that they could push Sony's consoles back, to push PlayStation back. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm an Xbox guy, but I don't want this competition to get so one-sided that that it starts to stall. We want it to always be going up and up and up. It's like ever since it's like technology in the last 100 years has been booming and increasing in just every way, shape, and form has been going faster and faster. The innovations in the last 100 years, it's ridiculous. Like what, 100 years ago, like, nobody really had cars. There was, and all this stuff's going on. It's like we have all this, all this cool technology, but the margin of increased technology from the last 100 years and the last 200 years is just tenfold, and it's incredible. And that's because of this kind of competition. So I do not want to see the competition go away. I want there to be the competition, because it just creates better and better stuff, and it's super exciting.
Yeah, I'm really hyped for this. But that's going to do it for our video today, guys. We're going to have more stuff like this upcoming in the future. This is kind of like our way of doing kind of like a mini podcast without having like a setup together. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on what you guys think about this. Do you guys like this better, having like gameplay, something in the background, rather than just like us like sitting down? Or would you rather that traditional style? I'm sure we're going to try more of both, but let us know in the comments down below, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Just